the guru of Squad 00, the assassin like no other. Yes, I'm the best at what I do. One of the most notorious YouTube anime among me. Don't doubt my infamy, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise this will not be a long video, and by my standards. But on a serious note, this should not take too long. But it is a subject that I've heard spoken somewhat quite a bit about, especially in concerning One Piece. Not that other series don't deal with this, but this comes huge with the series of One Piece. Now, this is applied to very much a lot of fiction. So I'm just focusing on One Piece because I've heard it brought up, I won't say countless, but numerous times. Especially by a friend of mine. He knows who he is if he sees this video. I'll probably tag him on this. But it's this whole myth of this quote-unquote traditional or quote-unquote pure swordsman. It's a myth, I say, because it is not in any fictional sense, nor in any historical sense accurate what this myth is. Now, to understand this properly, you have to understand two things. What exactly the claim is being made, and point number two, why this claim is being permitted to be made, and why I don't fault the individuals for making said claim. Although how false it is, it's not entirely their fault. Now, first, the claim, even though it's two separate claims, it comes spans from a similar focus, and I'll explain what that focus is and the connection and the reason why they're different but similar. The first claim about the traditional swordsman is the swordsman who, you know, pretty much the focus is almost entirely, if not solely, on swordsmanship. Like, that's what they're about, okay? And their lifestyle, this whole honor code, and da-da-da, it's kind of like Bushido with the samurai. Similar, but a little bit different. Honor, you know, certain things about the battlefield, and not going to do certain things, and stuff along that nature, okay? Not really focused on, you know, dealing with, let's just say, daggers, unarmed combat. Oh, definitely not unarmed combat, God forbid. Not any enhanced abilities, okay? Things of that nature. Now, a pure swordsman, while similar, is a little bit different. It's pretty much this one, while traditional kind of can be a little lenient or liberal, if you would have it, not liberal conservative in the American political sense, how the words are used, but liberal, kind of free, kind of wiggle room. Pure swordsmanship is one who's claimed, like, this is their sole mastery, like, this is what they do and they don't need anything else. Now, while it sounds very similar, here's the difference. Traditional means their background is almost entirely on swordsmanship, while pure swordsmen, they are a master of the sword, and that's like, they don't need anything else. It's kind of a again, this whole dishonor if you go beyond the sword or go outside of the sword. Like, it's a dishonor to the swordsman or whatever. It means your swordsmanship skills aren't good enough or some jazz like that. Now, it stems from this conception, and it's leading to the second point. It stems from this conception that, number one, well, it has three parts, three layers to it. Number one, that a martial artist in actually armed combat is still part of the martial arts. A lot of people misconstrue that. That armed combat, in this specific swordsmanship, or in any martial art, there's a focus only in that, okay? It's like, okay, you have a 10th dan in karate, you have a 9th dan in judo. I think if judo goes that high with its dans, pretty much your black belt degree, and that's what you're focused on. God forbid that we have a Bruce Lee situation, but, you know, that's an entirely different point. But that's pretty much it. You focus and you specialize in one thing. Point number two to this factor is that with swordsmanship, it is such a life or death struggle that if you don't devote your entire being into this and the whole creed about the sword and becoming one with the blade, one with, you know, yourself, or body, mind, soul, spirit, everything about you, emotion, if you don't devote yourself, then you will die, or you will get severely beaten, marked up, whatever. And point number three being that the legends were left behind, like Masashi Miyamoto, arguably the greatest warrior and greatest swordsman in history. If you read Vagabond and now The Way of Bakido, the 4th series in Baki, you see that, you know, his swordsmanship, well renowned. We are left with these legends, these swordsmen, and we're not left with much else. You know, they're best known, so that's what the legends are going to write about. But we're not left with what else they can do. Now, the second part of this, okay, that kind of supports this line of thought is the media, is from movies to television to pseudo-historical accounts. Legends that are not entirely accurate. Folklore that is not entirely accurate. You know, it doesn't account for what was going on in that era. Okay, let's just say 17th century Japan, for example, or 4th century BC Greece, or 5th century, I should probably say. You know, or a whole slew of other periods throughout history. You know, we have this romanticization of the fact. We don't have the gritty, the true dark cruelty of this. You know, even though it paints it as cruel, things were very much probably far darker. Just like, for example, if you take the movie The Passion of Christ, different example, but you'll get my point. The Passion of Christ, as brutal as it was, if you ever seen the movie, is not completely accurate to how brutal the whole crucifixion, the trial, the beatings, and then eventually the crucifixion of Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, actually was, according to the scripture and historical information that we have. Now, when you put those two together, and the image and perception are huge. They can become everything if one doesn't understand another perspective or know more information, if he's ignorant to things of history, philosophy, and other such things, science and whatnot. So, with that being said, I can't blame these individuals for having this perspective. Now, here's the reality, okay? Ancient Spartans, who were, you could say, pound for pound, easily the best warriors. They were the best military force in the ancient world, bar none. Second, you can argue the Pax Romana, the imperial army with the centurions, legionnaires of the Roman Empire. You know, there was other groups along the way. But with specifically the Spartans and their Greek phalanx, they're known for the shields. They're known, you know, they were the helots, you know, helots, however you want to say it. They were known for this. They were known for the spear. But when the spear or javelin was gone, what did they pull out? The short sword. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You can definitely know most were experts in the short sword. So are they not now swordsmen? Because they're rocking the short sword, but they're also rocking the spear. Even if you want to go to the samurai of feudal Japan, these dudes weren't just rocking katanas. Oh, God knows. God knows. Tontas. Okay? Bow and arrow. Spear. Pole-arm. And a whole slew of other weapons these dudes would be rocking. If you go to the ninja, also popularly known as the shinobi thanks to the Naruto series, kunai, shurikens, explosives, you know, short swords, daggers, and a whole slew of other things. These are just a few examples. If you go throughout history, even knights, okay, European knights weren't just rocking swords. You see, shields, again, spears, javelins, quite a few other devices, maybe a mace or so, maybe some clubs, bow and arrow in certain cases. When you go to the Vikings, you know, you can do a whole history. Just learn the history. Go back historically and see if you can find any traditional swordsman, any traditional, quote-unquote, or pure swordsman. The history doesn't support the image that's being portrayed. So when I say, in One Piece, for example, that no such thing exists, even in One Piece, where there are superhuman abilities given to these characters, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, super, you know, observation, crazy perception, crazy durability, crazy things, flying shockwaves and air slashes, that's not your pure swordsmanship. Okay? Fans even of Rurouni Kenshin and other samurai things, they know, they see these dudes are not normal humans. Yeah, they may excel in sword, but the sword goes beyond the ability to cut any material, like stuff of that nature. There's a certain point that is like, no, it does depend on the skills of the user. The blade itself, you know, but that gets an entirely different thing. Again, I didn't want to make this video too long. It's relatively short by my standards. And I just wanted to clarify something that I hear talked about quite often, and why it is erroneous. Again, I didn't go into a whole extended detailed history, but you don't need that. All you have to do is study the history of martial arts. And the fact is, I'm highly invested in research in various martial arts styles. So this does impact me. Unexpected one to like, comment, subscribe, tell me your thoughts on the subject. And if you disagree, please present me with factual information as to why you disagree. Not simply your opinion, but actually the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Till next time, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, peace.